Okay, it's all you, sir.
Okay, February 2nd here, 2015. April 2nd. I want to add a few things about the RationalWiki lawsuit. It is in the district court, the Northern District of Florida, right where my regular case was. It's Kent Hovind, the RationalWiki Foundation, case number 3:14, CV for Carl Vincent, 94/RV Roger Vincent /CJK. That'll be the clerk. And I'm going to let you post a copy. But meanwhile, I want people to hear. I'll just read into the record the lawsuit itself, which was filed over a year ago, and which has 3 attachments. I won't read all those, but that'll all be a thing. What I would like, RationalWiki is not related to Wikipedia, but I would like the Wikipedia folks to do, or somebody to do 3 things. Maybe you can handle this. 1, they should take it down. Take down the article about me. 2, you should have somebody make the edits I suggested and send them to me. And 3, I'd like the address of Wikipedia and the people responsible for it and their location, just in case this needs to develop into something like the RationalWiki lawsuit. Here's the lawsuit against RationalWiki, which was filed February of 2014, so a year and a month ago. And it says, complaint for libel per se, and injurious falsehood. Number 1, at all times in this complaint, Kent Hovind plaintiff was a resident of the county of Escambia in the state of Florida. Number 2, the defendants in this complaint, the RationalWiki Foundation and John Doe author, are residents of the states of New Mexico and other western states and are not residents of the state of Florida. By the way, we've since located one is in England and got a picture of his house and everything. Okay, number 3. Based upon the complete diversity of the parties and the amount in controversy exceeding $75,000, this court has jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1332A. Number 4. On February 8, 2014, the defendants published a false and defamatory statement on the RationalWiki internet site alleging that the plaintiff had filed fraudulent liens on property the U.S. government seized to pay his tax debts and of being a, quote, convicted tax fraudster, end quote. Number 5. Fraud and conspiring to commit fraud is a crime in Florida, where libel per se, libel and injurious falsehood, require a person to establish that, number 1, the statements were published, number 2, falsity, number 3, the actor acted with knowledge or reckless disregard as to the falsity of matters concerning a public official, or at least negligently concerning a private person, number 4, damages, number 5, a defamatory statement. Okay, number 6. Upon entering a Google search of the plaintiff's name, the false and defamatory statements can be seen in the, quote, state of Florida, as well as in the United States and internationally. The false statements are attached here as Appendix A, and I won't read that because that's on the RationalWiki thing. Number 7. The fraudulent liens that the defendant made reference to are 4 Liz Pendon's memorandums that were filed by supporters of the plaintiff, who is a Christian evangelist preacher with a worldwide following. The plaintiff did not file the liens referenced, and in fact could not file the liens based upon his present incarcerated status. The plaintiff did not send the liens to the court to be filed. In fact, could not have filed the liens, given that such liens must be filed in person at the county land records office. Number 8. A Liz Pendens is a legal notice of litigation pending and can only be filed in relation to pending litigation in a court of law, whereby the person filing the Liz Pendens asserts a claim against the title of the real property upon which the Liz Pendens are filed. Number 9. In this case, the United States moved the court to discharge the 4 liens, and in order to show cause why Kent Hovind shouldn't be held in contempt for filing the liens or causing them to be filed. Number 10. In the judge's order responding to the United States motion, the word fraud is never mentioned. The judge's order is shown here as Appendix B. Furthermore, the court itself never made reference to the liens being fraudulent, which the court could not, given that the lawsuit underlying the liens is a pending suit in the U.S. District Court for the District of South Carolina, and it's got the case number here, my Bivens suit. Under the South Carolina suit filed by Kent Hovind, the court cleared the suit through its initial PLRA 1915 screening, has ordered and had the U.S. Marshal serve the defendants, and is now going through discovery and the United States motion to dismiss. Number 11. 4 liens themselves were filed and recorded in the Escambia County, Florida State Court, where the properties are located, and were not held to be fraudulent or improper by that state court. Number 12. The judge's order in Appendix B never calls the liens fraudulent, only holding they were, quote, improperly filed, end quote. It only held that the United States may, all caps, have a basis for a contempt order, while ultimately denying the government's request to hold the plaintiff in contempt.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Sorry about that. Paragraph number 12. So paragraph number 12B. In Appendix C, the plaintiff responds to the United States motion to make clear that he was never served actual or constructive notice of its 6-27-2012 order, nor was he a named defendant in that 6/27/2012 order. On 6/27/2012, the plaintiff not only was not given notice of the initial court order, he also had not been given notice that the CSE members who filed the liens were enjoined from filing additional liens on the properties in question. Paragraph 13. The 4 Liz Pendens not only were not held to be fraudulent by the Escambia County, Florida court which filed them, those liens are still on the title of the properties in question, despite the order to have them lifted. Number 14. The statements against the plaintiff posted on RationalWiki are thus patently false and allege an action by the plaintiff, which is impossible given his current incarceration. So in posting those statements, the defendants knowingly, willfully, and maliciously sought to injure the plaintiff by publishing the statements, seeking, without grounds, to destroy the plaintiff's well-being and to further damage the plaintiff's reputation, based only upon their abhorrence of the plaintiff and Hovind, the ultimate target of their campaign of smear and libel. The plaintiff is informed and believes, and on that basis alleges, that the defendant's tortuous conduct and illegal actions were done in furtherance of their malicious aim, all to the plaintiff's damage as alleged. Number 15 and the last one. The defendants acted with reckless disregard for the truth or falsity of their statements against the plaintiff, and had actual knowledge that their false and malicious claims would have injurious impact on the plaintiff's reputation. Claim for relief. Plaintiff realleges and incorporates paragraph 1 to 15 as if restated in full. Number 17. On 2/8/2014, the defendants published the following false and defamatory statements on the RationalWiki internet site. Quote, Hovind is a young earth creationist and convicted tax fraudster, end quote. Quote, Hovind has filed numerous legal claims with Matthew's help, including fraudulent liens on property the U.S. government seized for his debt, end quote. The above statement is false, defamatory, and injurious because, and it gives A, B, C, D, E, F, G reasons here that you can people can read when they get it. Okay, so prayer. The plaintiff requests the following relief from the defendants: A, $2.5 million jointly and severally against each defendant. B, a retraction of the false and defamatory statements. C, any further relief deemed just and proper by the court. Respectfully, Kent Hovind, signed 2/19. So that is the lawsuit against, I probably should go ahead and read the A, B, C, D, F, G, just to have it on the record. This is under paragraph 18. The above statement is false, defamatory, and injurious because, A, the statement wrongfully accuses the plaintiff of committing crimes under the law of Florida based upon him allegedly filing fraudulent liens.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
On property seized from him in the state of Florida. The liens themselves never deemed fraudulent by any court of law, and the plaintiff unable to, in any case, be able to file those liens due to his current incarceration. B, well, as a matter of fact, the plaintiff didn't file the liens in question. The liens themselves have never been deemed fraudulent. The U.S. District Court only holding they were improperly filed, but never alleging that the liens themselves were fraudulent. The court's order against the standing of Kent Hovind or his supporters to file the liens is also inconsistent, where it sees the properties as forfeiture based upon his interest in them in 2006, but now claims he has no basis upon which to assert his prior interest, which the court itself previously declared. Nevertheless, the defendants allege the plaintiff's involvement in filing the liens, which is false, And the defendant's very characterization of the liens themselves is false and defamatory. Letter C. The statements expose the plaintiff to contempt and are so understood by those who read the statement to have the defamatory meaning ascribed to it in this complaint. The defendants intended the statements to be so understood by those who read the statements. Letter D. The defendants failed in any way investigate the truth or falsity of their statements before publishing them on the RationalWiki internet site. Letter E. The defendants' reckless and tortuous conduct also unjustly and falsely exposed the already incarcerated plaintiff to further criminal liability, all based on their animosity toward the plaintiff based on his religious and scientific beliefs. Their entire RationalWiki article itself having abandoned its scientific facade and attacking the plaintiff with vile insults. Letter F. As a result of the defendant's false and defamatory statements, the plaintiff has experienced further loss to his reputation, as well as having been unjustly and falsely exposed to additional criminal liability for actions unrelated to him and actions not deemed fraudulent under any court of law. The defendant's actions were done with a wanton and reckless disregard for the consequences they would have on the plaintiff. Letter G, the plaintiff was not convicted of, quote, tax fraud, end quote. He was convicted of failure to pay withholding tax and structuring, which are not fraud crimes under the U.S. Code. All right, so that is my lawsuit against RationalWiki, which has taken a full year now for the district court to move on, but at least they're moving on it. So that'll all be posted, and I'd like folks to pray for that. I don't start any of these fights, Rudy. They come after me, and all I'm doing is defending myself. The apostles, if you read through the book of Acts, they didn't start any of the trouble. They just went preaching the gospel, and the enemy came after them.
Amen.
Or Lazarus. Lazarus got raised from the dead, and then they tried to kill him. They wanted to kill him because people were leaving their church and going to Lazarus' church. They were losing money. It always goes back to money.
Amen.
Writing an email, I'm going to go visit Lazarus, go back and visit Lazarus today and talk to him, and write him an email. Anyway.
No, that's great.
RationalWiki stuff.
No, thank you for sharing that, Pastor Hovind. We've got a lot of questions on that because that issue has come up, and like you said, that's different than the Wikipedia situation. That's even another situation that's going on. But I appreciate you taking the time to go through that and provide the definitions and the explanations of what that's all about. And we will do our best to make sure people know about that and take action. Not only pray and ask God and for discernment and guidance as we go forward, but write them a letter and make sure that we do what we can to make sure things get corrected and get put right. It's not right that all these websites go up and what if they slander you today and they put libel about you today, but tomorrow they could be writing articles about anybody. So they'll just say whatever they want to say about anyone. So we've got to put a stop to it, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. You're welcome to call back if you like. If not, I'll make sure this gets out.
I will. And in Acts 16, after they beat Paul and Silas, they demanded a public apology. It's okay for Christians to stand up for their rights and even go to court if you have to. 1 Timothy 1:8, the law is good if you use it lawfully. That's all I've ever tried to do.
Amen.
If they accuse me of a crime, I'm going to have to sue them, I guess. I hate to do that, but it's the only language some of them speak.
That's right.
Yeah, if you got more questions, I'll call right back.
Yes, sir. Amen. Thank you, sir. All right, that was Pastor Kent Hovind covering the details of the RationalWiki lawsuit, not to be confused with the slanderous lies and the massive amount of lies that are on Wikipedia, which is a whole different website. But we'll get this uploaded and give God the praise in this spiritual warfare that just continues to rage on.